Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for the invitation to speak. Apologies, Murphy's Law. Just before my presentation, my computer decided to die, so it has been quite a stressful 5 minutes, but hopefully everything is solved now. Next slide, please. I think many of you have been talking about circular economy, but I thought that maybe some of in our audience do not know the concept. So we live in a linear economy. 90% of our current economy is linear. That means that we extract the raw materials we produce, use, and we generate a lot of non-recyclable waste. And this is generating a lot of economic, social, and environmental problems. We have the variability in the price of raw materials. We have the scarcity of some of them, and we have some environmental problems associated to waste, for example, the plastics in the oceans. To counteract that, there is a new paradigm with the circular economy, where we aim to keep materials and products as the highest utility and value over time, reduce resource consumption, which is really related with one of the challenges areas of sustainable future, with this resourceful futures, and to increase profits and social and environmental welfare. Next slide, please. The other part of my research is related with life cycle sustainability assessment, which is a group of tools that allow us to quantify, to put into numbers, environmental, economic, and social impacts. And we do it from a life cycle perspective. That this meaning that, for example, for a product, as we can see in the image on the top left, we consider all the impacts associated to the extraction of raw materials, production, distribution, use, and end of life. For example, in the case of the environmental LCA, we are able to quantify up to 18 different environmental impacts, obviously including as well climate change. Next slide, please. So how can we use these tools? One of the things that we normally do is to compare different technologies, strategies, products, even companies. Okay, so if, for example, if you have a new technology, a new product that you intuitively think that is better from the environmental perspective or is more circular than the business as usual, we can put that into numbers. Okay, we can calculate that. Next, please. Another option is to identify hotspots. You know, what are the 2, 3, 4 things that are contributing to most of the impacts? Okay, next, please. And obviously we can combine all of these tools, okay, and do a multi-criteria assessment considering environmental, social, and economic impacts, and also considering the circularity. Obviously, I'm more than open to collaborate with all of you with these tools. Next slide. One example that combines both things, one thing that we did, we decided to check if circularity was always equal to being something more circular, if it always is equivalent to more environmentally sustainable. So what we did, we compared these two food containers that are on the top from the takeaway restaurants that are single-use food containers, which will represent more the linear economy, with a reusable Tupperware that you have on the bottom part. Next. And here you see the numbers of how many times do you have to reuse the Tupperware in order to counteract the impacts of the single-use container. In the case of the polystyrene container, which is the one on the left, you, depending on the impact category, you have to reuse the Tupperware between 16 times and 208 times, okay, to counteract the different impacts, okay? So obviously this is an example and we can discuss it later, but next, please. What I'm trying to show is that we need to understand better when circular is sustainable, okay? And I think for that, life cycle approaches and life cycle tools are essential, okay? So to quantify that, to see if really something that is more circular is more sustainable from a social, economic, and environmental perspective. Just a reminder, lifecycle assessment tools, that's with what I work, allows to quantify, to put into numbers multi-criteria analysis, considering environmental, social, and economic aspect, allows us to compare different technologies, products, and materials, and allows to identify hotspots. Next, please. Here you have my contact, and I put my email, and since I'm a very modern guy, I also put my Twitter. You can contact me and we can discuss future collaborations. Thank you very much.